So let's quick dive into British pounds against Japanese yen. Shall we first off? So let's see what British pounds is doing against the Japanese yen. The Bank of Japan most likely will pause rates hike till next year, and GJ has been bullish. Japanese yen has been strong and thereby pulling a bearish move, and we can see from the structure a massive drop due to timely intervention of Bank of Japan. They made a sudden change and you know, bond adjustment and so many other economic reforms, and suddenly the Japanese yen regained its strength and quickly dropped price in the month of July. A dramatic drop from the yen, and it cut across AJ, GJ, EJ, and even UJ felt the impact. So let us see what price is doing. And now that British pounds is beginning to agitate and gather momentum, we hope that this momentum becomes something that ends well for the British pounds. So we are looking at price from structural perspective, and I want to see where this rally will go. Now, what we want to see here is what the British pounds and Japanese yen have done over time. Now, with the rate of appreciation that the British pounds is pulling in, there is a very high probability that the British economy will stay strong against the Japanese yen based on fundamental. Technically looking at the structure, we can back the structure technically to prove that we are right on a possible uptrend against the yen. But however, before we come to conclusion with what we are saying, we need some confirmation. Those confirmation has to come from structural confirmation of price. So looking at price action, I want to see price confirmed by a clear breakout from an ascending trend line. Now we have an ascending line breakout. This ascending line breakout, I want to see price break and return to a buying floor. We have a breakout from a demand floor to a supply roof. So I want price to return from the supply roof to demand, where we begin to see price upswing again. What do I mean by this? So let's look at the floor where price have been, you know, kept actively, and the British pounds have leveraged on it. Every time it comes here, the the British pounds, bring in the buy potential, and they push price. And let's look at it on a critical perspective. We have here demand floor where GG has been uptrending. In fact, the uptrend started from way back February. We started having a strong push of GJ, and the push went off, and on technical price had a break of structure at this level where price respected here demand floor, respected here demand floor, and price broke out from the structure, came down here, retested, and finally retest. So what we are looking at now is to see for us to be confirmed to further go long on GJ, we want price to break out from this structure. But I have two litmus tests. The two litmus tests is going to be a breakout from a descending trend line. I want to see a breakout from a descending trend line. If price breaks out from descending trend line by tomorrow, we will be in touch with the descending trend line. Hopefully we'll be in touch with the descending trend line by tomorrow. So when price comes there, I want to see a reaction at that level and to see what price does at that level. To see if we have a potential reaction by way of breakout, and then we look for a possible retest. And from the floor, when I sent a signal to go long, the signal on go long on GJ was based on a price, returning at the floor after we tested first time, second time, third time. We have here demand floor after the heavy bearish impulse that stopped price. The price returned again, forming an ascending trend line, and price came back here and retest. And I sent a signal on buy based on confluence. And when we look critically again, we see price bridging on daily that GJ has ultimately made a push by breaking a strong daily resistance that stopped price. On technical, what does this mean? That the British pounds will continue to upswing. So when we look at it on a structural perspective, we are going to see price swing. What is that price swing? So let's look at the price action and draw sentiment from it. We have here resistance structure, break of a resistance structure, price returns here on support, creating a platform for demand for a bullish impulse, where GJ has moved in to tap into a new all-time high. In recent time, GJ has been, struggling to make an uptrend. The British pounds have been struggling against yen. So after price broke this structure, it came down here, retested, and the price upswing actively. And that active upswing met an ascending trend line, serving as a dynamic resistance. That dynamic resistance put an end to the upswing where price is beginning to make a retrace. So such correction is still very much active, and we will see how it plays on a long term. Like earlier said, price made a swing from this level where we found support by way of weak rejection. We can see it actively. The price returns here as a demand floor, here as a demand floor, here as a demand floor. Break of a demand floor, price returns here and retest. A break of a demand floor becomes a supply roof, and we come here final and we sold off. So here we have a long-term ascending trend line and a breakout of that ascending trend line. And when price retested, price has actively dropped. So for us to continue, I want price in the future to return to this platform. This is a buying platform where we look at GJ, go to the moon again. This is going to happen so that it will break the previous high. But before we have that, we need price to break out from a descending trend line. A breakout from the descending trend line. Price have formed here resistance to upswing, resistance to upswing. The last resistance to upswing formed a double top structure and price has broken down. Price couldn't further go down because we already have an ascending trend line showing that the price action remains bullish. So what we want to see is that how price returns to this red line. If price returns to this level and respects it, but what I think that will happen here, because we already broken a structure, another descending structure by way of here resistance, break of a resistance structure, price returns here on demand, break of a demand floor retest, and price returns on the testing for so many times a supply roof and breaks it and return on demand, breaks again, test the supply roof, returns again, now price officially transitioning from supply to demand. So what will happen by tomorrow, I think price will come back after touching the the descending trend line, and price will finally break the structure and keep GJ on a bullish pedestal. I say GJ to the moon, GJ to the moon. So when we get here, then our fate will be contested by a long-term ascending trend line. On technical, GJ will not cross this level. So at this level, we begin to look for sell opportunity. So for now, don't bother about selling GJ. For now, don't bother about selling GJ. So the reason is very simple, and I will also put my Fibonacci extension to look at this bearish stop and see if price has retraced more than 50% of its price action. So when we look at it, we will see on technical that the price hasn't even gotten to the golden ratio. So price hasn't gotten to the golden ratio, and you see price has broken for 50% retracement. So I think tomorrow, um, or maybe price might dip itself into 197.519, which is the golden ratio. We are tracing the whole bearish drop. We want to see the golden ratio of this drop. 50% has been breached. And before price bridging, the price respected the 50% retracement by close of Friday, where we had a significant sell on GJ. Then Monday opened, the bearish impulse brought price to break the structure, and it's most likely on technical that GJ British pounds will close higher against Japanese yen today. While tomorrow we'll see a drop, a little correction, intraday correction to the upswing that started from December 1st. We'll have a little intraday correction, price will come down before breaking the descending trend line. And if we have a descending trend line breakout, then we position for long, where we see price return. On return, then we go long. We go long with intention to meet a long-term ascending trend line. Look at our long-term ascending trend line. The long-term ascending trend line from February 2023, where we have here demand floor, demand floor, demand floor, break up a demand structure, price returns here on retest. And if it comes here, it's a decent short. And when price returns to this level, that will be 0.7 level of the Fibonacci extension. So for now, let's be patient. If you're on the buy signal, which I sent, hold your position for long. Hold it for long. If you're already on the trade, give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. I was very specific on that because we follow the structure of market, and I've been following British economy for a very long time, and we've seen what they are doing with their interest rates and I believe the British pounds will continue to have an upswing against Japanese yen due to the Bank of Japan will be pausing rate hike till January. Assuming they go in again to change rate, this will invalidate this analysis, and GJ, I think GJ might turn from here and return sell. This is another case scenario. So we'll continue to watch how long it takes for price to get to this level. But bear in mind that a change in monetary policy from Bank of Japan is going to invalidate and possibly start to rob the British pounds of every gain the British pound sterling have made in the course of its upswing. So this is what we have for GJ. GJ to the moon. You can go watch my previous post on GJ where I specifically detailed say go moon on GJ, and GJ is doing exactly what we said.